Hello guys, welcome to my Udaipur travel vlog. And as always, and as it has been in the past, all my travels videos have been solo travel videos, because I have been living a digital nomad's life. So this was my last solo travel of 2024. I am again going on a trip now in December. This was back in February, and this again will be my solo travel. So I traveled 8 destinations on my own, and this was the last destination, that was Udaipur. And so this is not going to be my last solo travel video, because I am going on a solo travel again. But this is all that I had in my bank of videos, and it took me almost 10 months to work on them and release them. In between, a lot has happened, a lot of sickness, a lot of family issues, a lot of problems, a lot of job changes, a lot of ups and downs. So when I was recording, I remember that I wasn't really happy as to why am I recording, why am I not in the moment. And now that I look back after 10 months, I feel that I'm so glad that I recorded it. So there has to be, of course, a good balance of recording what you're living and actually living it. I think I am able to strike that balance very well, because I'm not a person who is keen on recording what is happening around me. I'm a person who just so in the moment that I sometimes forget to click pictures. And even when something amazing is happening, I will not record it. I don't know, the recording tendency is just not in me. So I am able to strike a balance, rather I strike a balance in a way where I don't record anything at all sometimes. So yes, so Udaipur was beautiful, amazing. I am in, if there is one place that I will keep going back in India, that I have realized out of all the travels that I've made, is number one is Rajasthan. I thought number one would be Himachal Pradesh, but it's not. It is Rajasthan. So one of the places that I'll be going back again and again and again is going to be Rajasthan, because I love the architecture that's there, the old Indian architecture, the history. It is very important for me that a place has a lot of nature, a lot of water, a lot of trees, a lot of old history to it. And history, when you see, if you want to experience history around you, it has to be the form of old architecture. And because that is what the old buildings is, what you will actually experience like first hand, those walls, those interiors, those beautiful sculptures that are there on our Indian architecture, like old Indian architecture buildings. I mean, I love it. And I love so much. So every building, every palace has so much of detail to it. Like, they haven't rushed the process of making it. The paintings on the walls, they are so detailed that it feels like they weren't in the rush of making it. And it's so beautiful, it is so colorful. And so Rajasthan has my heart. And I always thought it would be Himachal Pradesh, because I always thought I am such a person who loves nature, and I love it. But recently, this was my second time in Rajasthan. First time I went to Jaipur, this time I went to Udaipur. And I would say that it is so beautiful. it is so beautiful, especially because it has water surrounding it. So for me, a combination of hills and water, it's like it's a terrific combination. And when you put like old vintage looking buildings in that, I'm just gonna melt. I'm like, I loved Udaipur. I loved Udaipur, because I'm a person who is born in along the seaside, and so 24/7 my body just adapts to warmer climate. My body thrives in a warmer climate, and Rajasthan being a warmer climate, so that wins 1 point over a region like Himachal Pradesh, where my body struggles in cold, okay, and it's just not meant for cold. So I'm not saying that, not that it doesn't get cold in Rajasthan, it does get, but during the day it is so like blue skies, those buildings, the old history that is surrounding the city, the beautiful lakes, the Aravali hills. I mean, what more do you want? What more do you want? And it is so, I don't know. People, a couple of people told me that, Jaipur is maybe better than Udaipur, or maybe you won't really enjoy Udaipur as much, or something like that. And I am so glad that I didn't listen to any of them, because out of all the 8 places that I traveled to, this is the place where I felt most comfortable, most happy in, because probably because I love the cuisine of Rajasthan. I love the climate that is there. I love how the pace at which the city flows, the scenery that's around. It's just perfect to my liking. It is completely to my liking. And yeah, so what I want to tell you here is, so sometimes when you ask people for advices, they would tell you that, okay, you're going here, but I don't think you should. I mean, I don't really enjoy, like when I went there, I didn't really enjoy going there, or maybe this spot you shouldn't visit, it wasn't that great. But sometimes you might feel as if, no, I have read so much on it, and I've seen it in a couple of videos, or maybe I've read about it in a couple of articles. I think I should, but then there will be people first hand telling you that it's not that great, maybe you shouldn't. And but there is a gut feeling of yours that you want to go there, then you should go there, because every person has a different taste, right? So some might enjoy certain place, and some people might not. So a critique about a certain place, or a critique about anything, shouldn't be taken too seriously, because at the end of the day, everybody has a different taste, and some might enjoy certain places more than you, and you might enjoy certain places more than other people. So Udaipur is a classic example of that. I mean, it just fits in my like all the things that I like are in Udaipur. And you know what? I've met a couple of people from Rajasthan also, and I've made, like, they are one of my good friends now. And so it's all in all, I would say I like the temperament of the people here. So yes, so I would say just go by your instinct when you are traveling, or in general in life. People might tell you one thing, but that not actually suit you. So go see it by yourself, go try it by yourself, and then form an opinion about it. So yeah. And if you are getting bored of all the scene of the clips of the lake, I'm sorry, but you can clearly see every clip turned out to be so beautiful. And when I was this is the most that I've recorded a place. So this video is a very long video, almost goes up to 40-45 minutes, and I haven't recorded any place so much. Like, all the places that I've recorded come very close to 20 minutes, and that's all the footage that I have of that place. And I'll shorten it to maybe 15 to 10 minutes. But this video, the clips are so good, and I love all the clips, and they are so many. and also I didn't want to remove anything. So so you clearly know that I like something when I'm just staring at that thing and admiring it. So yeah, that's all I have to say about my experience. And now let's get into the part where we can talk a little bit about the history of the city. So Udaipur is a city in Rajasthan, and it has quite a rich history. Uh, so the founding of the city goes as Maharana Uday Singh II of Sisodian clan founded Udaipur in 1559. After the city of Chittorgarh was besieged by Akbar, Uday Singh was directed by an holy sage to establish the city in the fertile Girwar Valley, which would be protected by the Aravali range. And the early inhabitants of Udaipur were people known as Bhils or Bhil. This was an indigenous tribe who this tribe, you still find them in the area today, and they had inhabited the place back in 2000 BCE. Also, Rajputs have been living in this area for centuries, and Udaipur is the capital of Mewar Kingdom. It was the capital of Mewar Kingdom until 1818, when and after that it became a princely state. And you wouldn't find much of a Mughal influence in this place because when Akbar visited Udaipur in 1576 and remained there for 6 months, he couldn't really establish his influence because of the location that Udaipur has. It enjoys a location of being surrounded by mountains, and it was very unsuitable for the Mughal horses to encroach upon the area and then rule the area. Then Udaipur came under the British paramountcy in 1818. Then Udaipur became a part of Rajasthan when we gained independence in 1947. Then City Palace, a little about the City Palace, a complex of 15 of sorry a complex of 11 palaces built from marble and granite with medieval European and Chinese architectural influences. The palace complex includes hanging gardens, fountains, and balconies. Then there is a small island in Udaipur, a lake with two small islands and marble palaces, including one that was used as a refuge by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. Now we all know Shah Jahan's history. The National Lake Conservation Plan, it has 5 major lakes under this plan. Then a little bit about is that a little bit more about Udaipur is that it is called the city of lakes, and out of which there are 5 major lakes. One is Fateh Sagar Lake, Lake Pichola, Swaroop Sagar Lake, Rang Sagar, and Doodh Talai Lake. included under the restoration project of National Lake Conservation. Sorry, please don't mind. It is National Lake Conservation Plan of Government of India. And besides, Udaipur is also popular for massive historic forts and palaces, museums, galleries, natural locations and gardens, architectural temples, as well as traditional fairs, festivals, and structures. Then the places that I visited while I was there was Jagdish Temple, City Palace, Monsoon Palace, Ambrai Ghat, Fateh Sagar Lake, Lake Pichola, and Karni Mata Mandir. Also, I took a boat ride while I was there, and you'll find the clip of that coming up. And I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it. I would highly recommend taking the boat ride at sunset. It's worth all the trouble, going through all the trouble. Though you wouldn't find much of a trouble to get an access of it. And I found this artist who was making caricature there, making sketches of people. He was sitting in the City Palace and making sketches of people who were visiting City Palace. That is what the clip was earlier. And all in all, it was a really beautiful place. Some of the people also told me not to go to City Palace. There is not much to see, and I would say City Palace is the major attraction of Udaipur. If you enjoy history, if you enjoy art, if you enjoy museums, if you enjoy architecture, you are gonna love this, because I found a couple of maps there. Okay, maps of India dating back like 50-60 years ago, and it is so, like, the maps back then were so different than what we see today. And I could see my hometown Mumbai in all those maps. I mean, I couldn't find many cities that today exist and are major cities of India. I couldn't find them, but Bombay was always plotted on those maps, and it just amazes me as to how rich of an history Mumbai has. I mean, so it is really nice. And also that these people had those maps and they have preserved them even today and put it up in the museum. The museum is so well curated. I mean, even Jaipur has this one museum. I don't know if I have released a Jaipur vlog. I don't remember. But yeah, even Jaipur has this beautiful museum, though it's not within the palace, Jaipur Palace, but this museum is within the palace. And there was this some kind of celebration festivities that they were having in the palace the day that I went. And yeah, it's just, I mean, just look at it. I mean, so much of vibrant colors, so much of details. And I mean, I feel sometimes I feel like the person who is making it has also made it with so much of effort and so much of skill and perfection and thought to what has been done. And it has been done ages ago, and still it's preserved so well. Also, this Udaipur Palace wasn't made in one go. Okay, it has enjoyed this thing where it was created by different kings during their reign. So half of it was created by some other king, then half of it was created by some other king, and every king has just made the palace bit bigger. And the landscape is such of Udaipur is such that you understand that somebody thought of the city as their own home, and they have taken all the care as to not disrupt the landscape of it, and to keep the rich history, to keep the culture alive. I mean, you can see all that effort here, that they have strived so much and they are so proud of their culture, and they have so successfully preserved their culture. For example, this painting here, it was coated with glass. Okay, I mean it, it was completely coated with glass in an attempt to preserve it well. I mean, that just shows as to how much effort the person who made it made. Even and it was made directly on a wall, so it cannot also be pulled out from the wall because it's on the wall. The painting cannot travel. So the effort that they have gone to preserve these things, I mean, this is how all other places, historic forts, we see so many forts of Shivaji Maharaj in India, in Maharashtra, and they are not preserved well. Now, I'm not saying the culture that he had is anyway similar to what the kings and queens culture these people had in Rajasthan. But I feel every historical monument deserves to be preserved, deserves to be spent on a little bit. I mean, you should spend money on them to be preserved well, because when you do, the outcome is so beautiful, and that is when the next generation is going to be proud about the history that has been left behind. If you preserve it well, if you yourself take effort to look back at it every now and then, to learn from it, to take it forward every to the next generation. I would say that nowadays, when you see modern architecture, you would hardly see such windows where there is so much effort taken to carve out those grills, to design that one little window, that one little jharoka. So much of effort is taken to do that, and you can see that like a huge clan used to live here, and the Maharanis, the Maharajas, the royal family, their servants, their extended family, every person was living here, and they were so proud of what they had, and they were so keen on preserving it just over the years. And yeah, but one thing that you'll always experience is how were the women treated. So I went, so you also get to see the bedroom of Maharani, and the room of Maharaja. You see that so much of restrictions were there, that she was only allowed to peek from those jharokas, and she didn't really enjoy the status of being free and becoming a part of what was happening in and around. And it just saddens me as to every place, just you're constantly reminded as to how difficult women have in this world, and why are we not addressing it enough. So yeah, this is this as I said earlier, there was some celebration that was going on in the palace. You can see those tables that were They had put up those tables and everything. I don't know what it was, but I also made this sketch which I'm not that happy with. I don't know, I tried to sketch a couple of times in Udaipur, and sometimes, when you're sketching in the comfort of your house or in your studio, there is a consistency that happens. Okay, your skill set is at this level, and it will always, you're able to execute at the skill set that you are at. But when you're outdoors, there are so many elements that it throws you off, and you're not able to execute it as well as you should be able to. So that is what happened. Also, there was a group of guys who came up to me and they were talking to me, and that also distracted me, and I got a little bit conscious as to what I was doing, and then a little bit of frustration went into it. And I am damn sure that if I would have spent a little bit more time on it, it would have turned better. But yeah, I was tired, and I was irritated by people around me, because they were coming up to me and they were talking to me. That's a good thing, okay? Most of the time that's a good thing, but sometimes you're just frustrated with your art, and then somebody coming and trying to make conversations with you, and you're like, I am right now not in a state of mind where I can do justice to talking to you, and you're just failing everywhere. Then that is what happened. But yeah, in spite of not able to execute my sketch that well, the day really went by successfully. The highlight again is Udaipur Museum, and this particular stretch of the palace at sunset especially, it was so beautiful. I mean, right out of some scene in a Bollywood movie. I think Ye Jawani Hai Diwani was shot here, and they didn't pay a lot of attention to the landscape of Udaipur. But yeah, they had a couple of shots, if you noticed. But it was so beautiful, the pink hues, the purple hues of sunset. I mean, just magical. And many people come here for the honeymoon, I think. I mean, it does make sense. I saw a lot of couples. Actually, if you travel, no, you'll see couples everywhere. But yeah, almost every place is a honeymoon destination. But Udaipur, I can understand it because it has a slow pace. It's quite magical. It has this fairy tale kind of a thing because it has palaces in it, and it almost has everything. Also, it has great street food. Okay, if you're into charts, if you're into, like, if you're a vegetarian, if you're a non-vegetarian, every craving is gonna be satisfied, because I've heard lal mas is a cuisine here, which is like a mutton dish, like a goat meat dish, which is damn good. And yeah, so I think those non-vegetarian cravings are also satisfied, and vegetarian cravings also. Me myself, I'm a vegetarian, so I thrived on chaat. I love the poha that they made here. Also the chai at the place that I was staying at this hostel called Jungle Stump Fry. The chai that they made, oh, if I have forgotten to compliment them, um, I will just go back there to have that chai and the poha that they made. Every single morning I was having that poha and the chai. And when you're traveling continuously, especially I travel those 4 destinations in like one go, everything is continuously changing, so you need some habits, grounding things that are consistent. So maybe a workout in the morning, your daily art routine, and maybe a food item that you relate to the place and then end up having everywhere. So the same thing happened with me in Mussoorie as well. Mussoorie, I used to have this aloo paratha at this one place every single day, and chai. And here I was having poha every single day and chai. And yeah, and the poha and the chai. Poha, I wouldn't say it was good every single day. Like there was no consistency in the way it was made. But chai, hands down, every single day, amazing. And yeah, I really like almost everything about Rajasthan. Like, I have just seen two places so far, and I am I'm not in a rush to see every place in Rajasthan, because I love Rajasthan, and it is something that, now that I'm looking back on it, I know the feeling, and that is the reason why I love it so much. So it is about that feeling. It's not about, I can't sell you on it, as long as you go and experience it by yourself, because some places have a huge massive selling point, and when you go and experience them, it's not as like, the experience of it is not as great as the visuals that you have seen. But this place is, I guess, ulta. The maybe the visuals are not as great. Actually, I think the visuals also turned out to be the best so far of all my travels. But yeah, I love this place. I'm sorry if I'm yapping continuously. I don't know what else would make you stay for 40 minutes of the clip. But every single thing that I did here was amazing. And I stayed at Jungle Stum Fry. So the place that I was staying and working, I used to work at the cafe, the rooftop cafe, and right from there you were able to see the Udaipur Palace, and it was such a beautiful location to even open your laptop and work in. So yeah. And this is me going for the boat ride, and I was able to catch the boat ride at sunset. That is what you should do. You should do the boat ride at sunset, and we were able to do that. And look at the how marvelous that is. Sometimes I feel the people before us have achieved so much in their lifetime, and what are we achieving in our lifetime? I mean, they made these beautiful buildings, like architecture that has stood the test of time. They made this beautiful painting, staying true to their traditions. And then they made those what do you call, they were fighting Britishers, they were fighting Mughals, they were fighting other invaders, French, you know they were, and the same time they were able to maintain their tradition, their culture. They were able to make more beautiful paintings, make more beautiful art, fight battles. I mean, they were, in today's time, I think, if what are we doing, what are we contributing? Are we contributing in a scientific way? Are we contributing in a cultural way? Are we contributing in a social manner? I mean, it really, when you travel, I feel it makes you think that the world is so big, and there have been some people who have done some crazy ass shit, and it is your duty to also do the same. I mean, it's so that is the reason why, no, when you experience more things, it makes you realize how much it is necessary to do good work, and to contribute and make some contribution to the society that you live in, or the world that you have inhabited, or the planet that you have gotten an opportunity to be born on. So yeah, people say travel is such a leisure thing, it's a pleasurable activity. No, you will only get context to whatever you have heard when you go and experience new things. So I would highly recommend Udaipur. Solo travels, my solo female girlies, step out, go experience this. Good place, good people, safe place, safe this thing. Only once, when I was returning, not that late though, around 9 or 8, back to my hostel, there are some lanes that that become a bit isolated. So I, that time, when I was walking through that one lane, I felt a little bit like my antennas went up about my safety, but nothing really happened, nothing absolutely happened. But I prefer, see, there are pros and cons of having people around you. It makes the place safer, and it also it also creates chaos, and it also creates this disturbances. It also creates judgmental looks, but your safety is also assured, especially at night. I would say just step out in the locations that are a bit crowded, and if you really want to go to a place even though it's isolated, I would say that inform people around you that you're going here, inform your family that you're going here, and make a little bit of noise about that this is happening. Maybe you would get other options, or maybe you are also aware that okay, fine. And you know what, instincts, there are instincts there. Your instincts will become stronger only when you put yourself in this situation, and I have trusted my instincts. There have been times then where didn't make sense as to why I shouldn't be going here, but I was like, no, I don't think I should go here, and I just didn't go there. I mean, there was absolutely no reason, but I felt like it, and I just did that. So throughout my travel, I didn't have any bad experiences because I purely trusted my instincts. So when I felt like I shouldn't be doing this, and there is absolutely zero reason as to why I shouldn't be doing this, I just trusted and comforted myself. Okay, you don't want to do it, we are not doing it. You are not feeling comfortable doing this, we are not doing this may be the best thing that you're supposed to do after coming to this destination, but if that doesn't make sense to you, or if that makes you uncomfortable, we are not doing that. So that is what you have to do. I mean, when you're executing such big things and you're doing uncomfortable things, then there are certain things that your mind and body will say a big no to, and then you cannot force yourself beyond that. So trust your instincts, that if you think कि 1000 लोग जाके आ गए हैं, बट तुम्हें लगता है कि तुम्हें वहाँ पे नहीं जाना, या मुझे नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है, तो don't do it. Trust your instincts. As long as you're trusting your instincts, bus, because you're any which ways you're doing this because you want to do it, right? So when you are doing something because you want to do it, then do it entirely in that way only. No, why are you again listening to people? That is what I wanted to say. I hope you get my point. But yeah, that's it. I don't know, I really needed this travel experience. I really look at the sunset, bro. How beautiful is that? This was at Amrai Ghat, and yeah, my narration style is not typical. I'm not narrating whatever you're seeing on screen. That's true, because I am just winging it. I'm not really following a plan, because I do 10,000 things, and yeah, I feel authenticity is more important over anything. So yeah, I enjoyed the sunset and Amrai Ghat. Then during night it looks like this, and this is the view from a hostel, the rooftop cafe, and we had live music almost like twice or thrice in the week, and the people who used to come to sing here were really good at their job. Like they were damn good. And yeah, so Jungle Stir Fry was the hostel. You should definitely stay here. Clean, I wouldn't say it is very luxurious or not luxurious at all, especially, but it gets the job done. They have basic facilities, they have good food, they have this live music every day, and yeah, you should go stay there. Actually, I booked in a different place, but then I realized that place didn't have everything that I needed. So I decided to make the switch. So I switched to Jungle Stir Fry, and then I stayed, because I had stayed at Goa's hostel, and that was nice enough. So I was like, why not stay here also? So yeah, I stayed, had fun. This was Karni Mata Mandir, and there is some dargah or mosque also up there. So if you, it's not just a religious place, you can just take up a hike there, because hiking up, when this is me on the way to the top. And I bought the necklace that I'm wearing, I bought that there only. And because I didn't really have those Rajasthani outfits, my outfits were almost like you could wear them anywhere. And so they were quite what do you call, essential outfits, like essentials, basic tops and all of that. And I wanted to jazz my outfit up, so I bought this necklace, and it went well with the western outfit as well, and I liked it. So I was wearing it, and yeah, I enjoyed my hike up there. Also, there are scooties that run. Okay, you can book scooties, you can book rickshaws. Rickshaws से better है, I would recommend to have those scooties booked place A to place B, because Rajasthan has those narrow lanes. And a scooty is much more useful in that scenario, because it just passes through those narrow lanes quite easily as compared to a rickshaw. So this is me on the way up to that mandir. And any which ways, if you are not a religious person as well, or not belonging to either of these religion, you should still take up the hike, because the hike is quite beautiful, the view up there is quite nice. You get to see the city, you get to see both the sides of the city which one side which is completely crowded with buildings and all of that stuff, like any normal city, and one side of the city which is completely covered with palaces and lakes. And one thing I thought when I looked at Udaipur is that somebody considered this place as their home, because they have taken a lot of effort in making sure that the landscape stays as beautiful as it was earlier when it was founded. So yeah, the landscape is quite beautiful. Like the aerial view of Udaipur is almost like a, what do you call, a photo card. What those envelopes are called? Yeah, that word. I'll put it up. So postcard. Yeah, it's almost like a postcard photo. Yeah, just to see how happy I am. I was happy. My tummy was happy. My skin was happy. My body was happy. Mentally, my eyes were just. It was a treat to my eye. Like everything about it just clicks for me. So I love Rajasthan, and I'm definitely going back to Rajasthan. And that's one place after North which I would just keep going back to. And yeah, and Rajasthan is supposed to be a desert in my head, but look at how much water it has. You just look at it. This was Fateh Sagar lake. Besides Fateh Sagar lake, you should see the sunset from Fateh Sagar lake also. And everything is almost walkable. Was walkable from the place that I was staying at, and otherwise it's just 15 to 20 minutes away. The city is quite small. I mean, staying in Mumbai, where it takes like 2 to 3 hours to reach from point A to point B, this city feels quite as them close by, because hardly half an hour is the max I have taken to reach. When I went to the Monsoon Palace, like this is the Monsoon Palace, when I went there, it took me half an hour, less than half an hour to reach. And I won't recommend going to Monsoon Palace. Huh? I mean, if it's on your list, just do it. It has nothing to offer. Just a different view of Udaipur, which I didn't really enjoy. I mean, almost if you have traveled to places, there is nothing specific about this view. Like most of the places that you will travel to, and from the hilltop, you're gonna see the same view. There is nothing different to it. Bahubali Hills is also something that people kept saying that you should go, and unfortunately, I didn't find the time to go there. So I did this place. This place was a bit of disappointment, I would say. It doesn't have much, and it's out of the way as well. So yeah, no, I wouldn't recommend Monsoon Palace. If you really want to see everything that's there in Udaipur, then you can do mountain this thing. And if you are an itinerary person, you might to check out check out the check out an itinerary. Like if you're a list person and you want to check out everything that's on the list, and then Monsoon Palace is on the list, go see it. It's nice. The area around is nice. It's very different from City Palace, and you can enjoy it, especially with a group. If you sit at some place and just joke around and fool around, I think then it adds to the journey. But if you are a solo traveler, it just like, I mean, I didn't find anything unique there. And I think the next clip is going to be about my hostel, of my hostel, where I was sitting and working every single day. And from there, I go to the Udaipur City Palace, the lake, and I really liked my view, where I was sitting every day and working. And yeah, I would highly recommend going to Udaipur. Really nice place. Out of all the places that I've traveled to, like all the 8 places that I've traveled to, this place made me the most happy. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.